Let's talk about Myanmar. It's been a week since a deadly earthquake struck the country. Over 3,000 dead as more and more bodies are being found. But this is no Turkey or Nepal, where the focus shifts to humanitarian aid after an earthquake. Myanmar is facing a triple whammy: the ongoing civil war, people still recovering from last year's cyclone, and now the earthquake. So we have to ask, did Myanmar's military order strikes just hours after the quake? Is the military using the earthquake to gain more control? How are Russia and China involved in Myanmar? I'm Ananya Dutta. You're watching Grey Zone. Four years after the 2021 coup, Myanmar's military controls only 21% of the country's territory. Rebel forces and ethnic armies hold 42%, which means fighting has become a common scene in the country. So when last Friday, a 7.7 magnitude earthquake struck the country, the first question everyone had was, will this halt the civil war? The first ray of hope came from the opposition National Unity Government, which unilaterally announced a 2-week pause on attacks. The Three Brotherhood Alliance, a coalition of 3 ethnic resistance groups, likewise agreed to a temporary truce. But the Myanmar military resisted. The situation is complicated to say the least. The war is man-made, the earthquake isn't. Just hours after the earthquake struck, an airstrike hit the Shan state. With limited resources, rescuers were digging through the rubble for survivors when the military general ordered an attack. Under pressure, the military caved to a ceasefire but continued its ground offensive on the northern front. The military took the fighting to the Kachin state, where it was already at war with the Independence Army militia group prior to the disaster. Support systems are already non-existent. There are further reports of the military slowing down humanitarian efforts with their aid blockade, restricted communication, and imposed curfews. Experts of the region say this level of insensitivity does not come as a surprise. The generals who have had a grip on the country for much of the past 6 decades have a track record of exploiting disasters for political gain. Like in 2008, a week after the deadly Cyclone Nargis killed more than 100,000 people in Myanmar, the military held a constitutional referendum to guarantee its control. The Junta, which is another name for the military, claimed to win the referendum with 98% of turnout. Now the members are questioning this till date. The situation is a lot similar now, where a disaster has struck and the military wants to hold an election this December. And in a show of democratic values, it has urged opposition parties to participate. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has arrived in Myanmar today. He appealed to the international community to immediately step up funding for the earthquake victims. But it's not that simple, is it? It's not like we send money to our friends. Countries will have to go through the Myanmar army to send the funds to the earthquake victims. And thanks to their past corrupt practices, they're difficult to trust. Like in a statement, US Campaign for Burma pointed out that the military has historically proven itself to be incapable of effectively distributing humanitarian aid during natural disasters. So can old players help? Neighboring China has steadily increased its involvement in the conflict. It has tried to broker several ceasefires, getting mixed results. Apart from being a geopolitical problem, Myanmar also serves as an economic interest for China, like critical minerals, oil, gas, and a BRI infrastructure project. Myanmar also provides a deep seaport access and alternative trade routes. However, China is also in a tough spot. It provides military support to the junta, but also maintains relations with the NLD, the National League for Democracy. It's the former leader Aung San Suu Kyi's party. Unlike China, Russia has aggressively supported the military. Moscow sent an official representative to the military's celebration of Armed Forces Day held in 2022. Simultaneously, security forces were killing protesters in the capital. Just last month, the military and Russia signed an agreement to construct a small-scale nuclear power plant in Myanmar. The deal was finalized after talks in Moscow began with Myanmar's leader Min Aung Hlaing and Russian President Vladimir Putin. The military continues to leverage its technological advantages, most of them being granted by foreign supplies like Russia and China. Now, these two countries have blocked any substantive action against Myanmar's military at the United Nations Security Council. The earthquake should have been a moment for unity, but instead it has revealed the failures and brutalities of it. And a political vacuum has laid the ground for external players like Russia and China, enabling chaos for selfish interests. The military desperately needs a lifeline and an exit strategy from the civil war. The earthquake could offer both, but the real question is, do they even want it? Perhaps the people trapped between rubble and repression should have a say. But when has a war ever ended because of that?